Good morning, class. Welcome to St. Peter's School. This is your science class, and in previous class, we were at the chapter number 3, that is force and pressure. So today, we are going to just revise the previous point. What is force? Force is a push or a pull, the interaction between the object that can change the state of object. So what does it mean that when you will push or pull any object, that is and that the pressure you apply on that object, that is called force. Okay, so a force is a push or a pull. The interaction between objects that can change the state of object. State of object means either suppose the body is solid, like it's a very heavy, it's not moving from the place, but your force will when you will exert force on the object, it might be it will change the shape of that object. So that is called the interaction between the object and the force you apply. Now, on the basis of this, there are types of force, that is contact force, net force, frictional force, and gravitational force. There are different types of forces, so we will study about the different types of force. First is contact force. What is contact force? Force that require touch or contact to be applied are known as the contact force. Example, muscular force, frictional force, non-con. Okay, so this is the type of contact force. So contact force is what in which we you will by contacting you will change the state of that object. State of that object means that you are exerting some force and it is changing their shape or the state, that is three state, solid, liquid, gas. So either there will be any type of change in the state, but it will only occur when you will touch it. So that in that case that will be known as the contact force. On the basis of contact force, it is again divided into two types of force, that is called muscular force and frictional force. Okay, and now another type is non-contact force. So force that do not need a contact or that have their influence without touch, that is called non-contact force. So and this is that case of force in which you will not touch, you will not come in the contact of that object which is changing the state but due to force, that is called non-contact force. Examples are magnetic. Okay, so on the basis of non-contact force, again it is further divided into different types of force, that is called magnetic force, electrostatic force, and gravitational force. So you are going to study about all these type of force: what is muscular force, what is frictional force, what is magnetic force, what is electrostatic force, and what is gravitational force. So one by one we will cover all the topics. Now, what is net force? The resultant of all the forces acting on a body is known as the net force. The acceleration of the body is along the direction of the net force. Okay, in previous class I have shown you one example what is the net force. When, like, I have shown you the example of truck moves to the right, like when the truck is moving to the right and you are forcing the force, like you are trying to pull the truck towards your side, that is called net force, that is called balance force. If there will be a difference between the force which is applied from front and from the back, if there is a difference, then in that case you can calculate the net force. But if both the forces equal, then in that case net force will be the zero. So that is called net force. Now, what is frictional force? Frictional force, the force that opposes the relative motion between two surfaces, which acts between surface of two bodies in contact. It is a type of contact force. Now, as I already told you, what is frictional force? It's a type of contact force. Now, why it is known as contact force? Because in this case, when two object is in a contact and you're trying to move that object from that place, then that both the object which is in contact try to pull themselves towards each other, that is called frictional force. when you will see the ground पे जब हम कोई heavy objects को आप try to वो उसको pull करते हो, but you will feel like it's heavy. So what is it's heavy, why you feel so heavy if any object is put it on the ground? Because that ground is also putting the equal force on that object to be in a rest. वो भी एक ground भी एक force लगाता है, उस object को try करता है कि वो अपने rest position पे रहे, that is called frictional force. Okay, so muscular force. Now, what is muscular force? It's again a type of contact force, the force applied by the effort of our muscles, lifting a heavy box, pulling a bucket of water, peddler. So these all are called muscular force. Why again this is a contact force? Because when we are like when you used to do workout, suppose you're doing workout or you are doing some physical exercise, you are carrying a heavy luggage. So in that case, which type of force help you to lift that object? That is called muscular force. Now, what is gravitational force? Attractive force that body experience towards the center of the earth is called the force of gravity due to the earth property of the universe. Every object attracts or exerts a force on every other object. Now, what is gravitational force? We all know that what is gravitational force. It's a very common force, like that earth, like earth, which earth ground, which if, like apply force on the falling object. That is called gravitational force. It is a type of attractive force, and it is also a type of non-contact force. Attractive force that body experience towards the center of the earth is called simple, that is called gravity of the force, and this force is put it due to earth property of universe. Every object attracts or exerts a force on every object. Now, what is electrostatic force? The force of attraction or the repulsion experienced by charged body from another charged body in the same vicinity is known as electrostatic force. Okay, so like same type of charge repel each other, and like different types of charge attract each other. We all know that we all know we all are aware of this type of force, that is called electrostatic force. And you will see in your book a very common example of comb and the hair is given here. So when you will rub a comb on your hair, some types of an, charge develop in your comb, and when you will try to pull a pieces of paper through that comb, that shows that you will see that the paper is start moving, and it's try to stick on the it's try to stick on the that comb layer. So that is a type of electrostatic force. Why it develops? Because when you will rub the comb in your hair, it will develop some charges on it, and that is negative charge. You can see in the picture, plus repel each other, minus minus repel each other, but plus minus will attract each other, and this is called only the electrostatic force. Okay, so in the case of repelling also there is a electrostatic force, and in the case of attraction also there is a electrostatic force. Nuclear force. What is nuclear force? Nuclear force acts between all the particles in the nucleus, between two neutrons, between two protons, and between neutrons and the protons. So it is an attractive force in all case. It is force that keeps the nucleus intact by overcoming the enormous repulsive force between the positive protons. So when you will see that like any nuclear objects, you will see that they bears internal forces, that is called nuclear force. What and that is the reason whenever the nuclear item or the nuclear bomb explodes, it sounds so much, because there is a like a break in their force, and that is the reason of their bursting, and there is that is the reason of their sound, because neutron proton have a very strong force between them. Neutron proton have very strong force. Two protons has also a very strong force. So all the nuclear all the in the nucleus, all the atoms, that is a single circle is known as the atoms, and by the binding of different atoms, they used to make a nuclear objects. So that all the atoms have a very strong bond, a very strong force between themselves. So that's why this is the reason whenever nuclear objects explodes, it explodes with the heavy sound and the heavy light due to the break of the that is strong force. Now, turning effect of the force. If an object is pivoted at a point, then the applied force produces turning effect about an axis passing through the pivoted point of the object. It is also known as the momentum of force. Momentum of the force is the product of the force and perpendicular distance between the pivot point and the line of force. We already studied about this in the last class, because when we studying about the force, जो भी कभी भी force, when you will lift the some object with the force, and it like they used to form the like some angle. In that case you can calculate the that work done and what is the force work, in that case the work done is equal to F into cos theta. So in that case F is related to the angle in which it is inclined. Factor affecting the turning effect of the force. Now the magnitude of the force applied, perpendicular distance of the force from the point of pivot. Now what is thrust and pressure? The force acting normally on a surface is called thrust. Thrust exerted by a body on a surface, equal to the weight of the body. Thrust is a vector quantity. The SI unit is Newton and the CGS unit is dyne, where 1 Newton is equal to 105 dyne. So this is very important. 1 Newton, you have to remember this, that 1 Newton is equal to 105 dyne. It is already calculated and it is calculated as 1 Newton is equal to 105 dyne. Now, what is thrust? Thrust is nothing. It's the force acting normally on a surface is called thrust. Thrust exerted by a body on a surface. जो ऑब्जेक्ट कहीं किसी सरफेस पे रखा था, तो that the force that is object exerted by the object on the surface, that is called thrust. Pressure, the thrust per unit area of the surface is called pressure. Thrust per unit area of the surface is called pressure. So pressure is equal to thrust by area, total area. We will divide the thrust by total area, then we will get the pressure. Pressure is a scalar quantity. SI unit is the Pascal and the symbol is PA. 1 PA is equal to 1 Newton meter square. Okay, you can see here what is the two example is already shown here, that one is blunt knife, that is dull knife, broad knife, and one is sharp knife. So it is exerting it is covering like more area on the surface than the sharp knife. So pressure in this case, what happened, that area will be decreased, so pressure will be also decreased. So factor affecting the pressure exerted on a force depends on the thrust, area on which the thrust is applied. Larger the area on which thrust act, less is the pressure exerted by it. Larger the thrust acting on the area, more is the pressure. Large the thrust acting on the area, more is the pressure on exerted. So in that, क्योंकि यहाँ पे आपका area कम हो जाएगा and pressure is directly proportional to thrust and area. So area will decrease, pressure will decrease, area will increase, pressure will increase. So in this way you can understand, and this is very important term. You will get a different types of calculation over it. So like इसके basis पे आपको बहुत सारे practical question पूछे जाएंगे कि what will be the pressure in that case, what will be the pressure in the another case. So laws of liquid okay, so now we are going to end class here only. In next class I will start with the different new topic, that is buoyancy, what is buoyancy and all. So till the time, keep revising all the points. Thank you. Bye bye and take care.